Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me. And happy December the 1st to everyone, everywhere, wherever you are. And the first thing I'd like to say is thank you for all of you for watching my channel and sticking with me through the year. I've finally made 1,000 subscribers, which is brilliant. Which I think if I went, about 20 videos back earlier this year, I was saying I wanted that to be a thing if I could do it before Christmas, and I've done it. So it's brilliant. So thank you, everyone. I'm getting great support from all of you. I get nice emails and messages in the descriptions below the videos and stuff. And of course, I get some cranky ones, and that's all good too. That's what the internet's about, right? Take the good and the bad. And everyone's got an opinion. But anyway, all of you, even those people, thank you. It's all good. And I'm going to try and keep this up. Obviously, there was no Tuesday video this week. I was in the studio and I just couldn't get around to it. So apologies for anyone waiting for one to pop up on the premiere thing. But sometimes I'm just too busy to do it. But yeah, so here we are, Friday. And I was out last night for a kind of, it wasn't a drummer curry. It was about a month ago, I think, I did a video about a good friend of mine and a kind of a mentor and like a second dad, really. Steve Gardner passed away. Steve Gardner owned the store Assembly Music, the drum shop and guitar shop. And that's where I went when I was like 16 or something and did a YTS course. He took me on, and as well as having the shop, they also had the distribution for Sonor drums and eventually Sabian cymbals and Godin guitars and a few other things. And I eventually worked out at the warehouse, which was on the Lower Bristol Road, which, if you guys know Bath, isn't far from Widcombe where the shop was, maybe a 20-minute drive in traffic or something. And I was out with John, who used to work in the shop, and Ken and Simon. Simon is Steve's son. And I saw Sharon, Steve's daughter, and her husband, I haven't seen them for years. And Stash, a local singer and songwriter and great bass player, was there as well. And Alex as well, John's friend from Zonky. Oh man, it was crazy. Anyway, it was good. And some guys I've never met. I knew their faces, but never met before. So like 10 of us or something. And the cool thing was that Assembly Music in Widcombe was obviously long gone. And now it's a curry house. So we were sat in the shop yesterday. Well, what was the shop last night? And it's now a curry Indian restaurant. And it's brilliant because Steve's favourite kind of dining out food was curry. So for his shop eventually to become a curry house was just like fate, had to happen. But a few times we were sat there thinking, the counter used to be there, the guitar display was here, the drums were over there. Oh, do you remember the day when there was trumpets and stuff as well? He used to have a deal with selling Selmer products, and he may have had saxes as well. And I remember going in when I was very young, and there would be a glass cabinet with that stuff in there, and mutes and things, and then the stick rack and the snare drum rack, and then the counter used to be up that part of the shop in the middle, all that. It was great. And going out to the toilet out the back is still obviously the toilet. There's only one gents and one ladies. And going out to the gents was kind of like, God, I remember being here when I was 16 till about 20, I don't know, 25, no, about 30 maybe. I mean, I left the shop in 1991, I think, and went to do other things. But I'd always go back and buy stuff and hang out and see Steve. And sometimes I'd go in and say, I don't know if I should do this audition or whatever. And Steve would, kind of say, well, I think Clive Deemer would do it. Why aren't you doing it? And I'd be like, well, I don't know, Steve, I'm quite comfy teaching. Should I be going to the States at the moment playing, And I remember he was just, he didn't bully me, but he was kind of like, why wouldn't you? Like, all right, we'll get Clive to do it, shall we? Do you want Clive to do the gig? Maybe that's what should happen, and all this. And I was like, no, you're right. I definitely got to go. This is about me and my career. That was very Batman and Robin at that point. Holy moly. So yeah, anyway, so we had a great time out there. And for one of the first times, actually, the first time, I took the train into Bath from Chippenham, which was amazing. Being a local now in Chippenham, not using the train seems daft. Driving into Bath, why would I do that? It was on time. The train back wasn't, but that's a whole nother story. And I think from today, there's going to be a whole host of train strikes, unfortunately, because I remember I was talking to my girlfriend on the phone, and I said, underneath where the times are, it says, you may want to think about other forms of transport through December, or something. So hope that doesn't, interfere with too many of you out there doing your things. And also the weather, it's very frosty. And so wherever you are in the UK, I hope you're okay and safe, and actually anywhere else in the world. So that was yesterday. I think coming up soon, talking with Stephen Roper, who does the Living Ornaments Gary Numan interview website with ex-members of Gary Numan's bands. You know, that's always, so if you're a fan, go and check it out, because he talks to Joe Hubbard and Andy Coughlin and Chris Payne, who's just brilliant. He just looks a right laugh. And they all come over really well, actually. Yeah, so that's good. So we're thinking of getting together and doing something maybe for the Cedric Sharpley bursary. Well, we're definitely going to do something. We're still working on it, and also making some music. You know, maybe but more about that at some point. I don't want to give too much away, but got some ideas about things to do there, which is cool. And we're to and froing ideas. So that's kind of nice. And generally, the Cedric Sharpley sort of Gary Numan thread it was well received. My first video on Cedric, which was just a thank you video to him, really, is already up in the 400-500s, I think, which is, you know, for one of my videos, it takes a long time for it to get up to those numbers, and it's done it reasonably quick. And again, I've got some lovely feedback. Dave from the Liquid Engineers, who are a brilliant Numan tribute band, he's written to me. He's the guy who owns Cedric's drum kit now. Yeah, and many other people. Philip Pendleton in the States. And obviously I contacted Stephen Roper myself, you know, because I wanted to touch base with him, because he does such an amazing job, you know, keeping all of those ex-band members in you know, in our thoughts with those brilliant videos, because they're just very amusing, which I think they were done over lockdown, and which adds to the comedy value. I think, you know, the people are really up for communicating, and they're just having a great time talking to Stephen about it. I think we all remember how dark those times were occasionally. You know, we all had different lockdowns, but yeah. Anyway, so that's cool. And the other Cedric Sharpley one I did last week on the pleasure principle, which is over there, that's been well received too. That's, you know, in a 100 or 200, you know, views bracket, which is, again, it's great. And once again, I've had some nice emails and messages in the description about that, saying thank you for doing this, and I too was influenced by him, and I live in Australia, or I live in Italy, and I love the album. And that's great, isn't it, how it's bringing people together. Music is so great at that. So there will be more Cedric Sharpley stuff. I'm going to have a look at Telecon as well, and Dance, and maybe some of the later ones, but maybe not. And for Numan fans who sort of say, oh, no one ever talks about the later stuff, you know, it's just what the earlier things are the things that I remember most, and they're closest to my heart. So if I'll probably go back to Tube Army and Replicas too, if I'm honest, but I might not look at Warriors or Berserker and things like that. But still great records, and I have them here or in my mum's garage. You know, they're around. But, you know, the first 4 or 5 core albums mean the most to me. And that's when I was most receptive to the drumming. I think that's what it is, as well as the songs and the image of Gary and stuff, and how big he was. I loved all that as well as a kid. He loved, you know, we all like loving bands and actors and sportsmen and whoever, and bands obviously who are famous. You know, we like it. He's like, oh, they're in the paper again and all that. It's kind of cool. So I will be doing that as well, with a little breakdown. And at some point when I've got the time, I will do some of the grooves and talk about what I like about the grooves as well. Obviously I do my YouTube shorts and my little ramble videos. You know, one could say, oh, why don't you do it in the time you do one of those? I'd like to do it a bit nicer, you know, with nicer lighting and not just off the cuff like that. Because I find there of the minute before another student comes in or before we start recording and people say, right, can we have silence in the studio? Just going to set mics up. You're like, yeah, of course, man, I'll go and have a cup of coffee. It's not the time to say, well, I'm going to do a video now on Cedric Sharpley's drumming or whatever. But I will get to it. I'm just going to have a quick slurp of my morning tea. Cheers, by the way. Yeah, so the little men are really up in their game at the moment, because obviously none of us are touring or that busy at the minute with the festive season coming up. So we've got time to work on the music. So we're doing a cover, which will be out soon, which I'm really excited about, that they asked me to produce again, which is brilliant. Well, brilliant, they asked me to produce it. I don't think, you know, hopefully you guys will think it's brilliant. And that'll be out soon. Very different take on a classic song. And some other things we're working on. Nick's already trying to get the new album finished and stuff, you know, all started. We've only just done the other one, but he's so busy, he's so active. he doesn't want to stop the ball rolling, and I understand that. So keeping things moving along, which is brilliant. So I guess over the December period, I will be doing that. And a few people have asked about remote sessions. Yeah, I can still do remote sessions. I can do them from NARM Studios. You know, we can use just, you know, my onboard technology plus the mics, or for a bit of a bigger fee, we can use the actual the desk upstairs as well, which people have done. Sometimes Nick cuts a deal with people where they think they're just having me, you know, record. I'll record it myself, but in the end, we can afford an engineer and we can record the drums and all the percussion, whatever you want me to play, you know, on our desk, you know, which is brilliant. So anyway, so yeah, let me know. This could be a good time to do it as well, because this is kind of what we call downtime. So I'm around. So if you wanted some tracks or an album done or something, and actually I just remembered I've got a contact Stash. He asked me to do something on his music last night when we were out for the meal. So I'll get back to you today on that, Stash. Get that sorted. Yeah, so that, you know, lots going on and nothing going on at the same time, you know. But thanks for tuning in. Very short, well, shortish video today, just let you know what's been going on. Thanks again for the 1,000 subscribers, you know, that I've now got. Appreciate all of you, and hopefully we can build that with more interesting footage at the studio and more YouTube shorts and all the sort of stuff that I do. Hopefully up the ante next year, get more things happening, more interviews with other musicians and engineers and producers and things like that, and technicians. That would be a cool thing. So yeah, so have a great weekend. I've got 3 gigs this weekend, so I'm busy, but no teaching this weekend, so I can chill out on that. So have a good weekend. Stay well, stay safe wherever you are, because it's pretty frosty out there. And if there's any snow where you are, again, be careful. And I'll see you on Tuesday. All right, guys, take care. Great weekend. Cheers, bye.